Hello everyone, I'm Professor Kibet. I'll be talking to you about microteaching, its meaning, characteristics, and steps. First, I want us to look at the meaning of microteaching. Microteaching is a teacher training technique where aspiring educators practice teaching in a reduced setting, typically with a smaller group of learners. It can also be said to be a tool used where aspiring teachers deliver short teaching sessions, either online, in person, or recorded. What are the objectives of microteaching? One, microteaching is actually used to enable teacher trainees to learn and assimilate new teaching skills under controlled conditions. Number two, to enable teacher trainees to master a number of teaching skills. Three, to enable teacher trainees to gain confidence in teaching. So those are the main objectives of having a micro-teaching. Now, I want us to look at the characteristics of micro-teaching. Micro-teaching has the following characteristics. One, micro-teaching is a highly individualized training device. Number two, micro-teaching is an experiment in the field of teacher education which has been incorporated in the practice teaching schedule. Three, it is a student teaching skill training technique and not teaching technique or method. Micro-teaching is micro in the sense that it scales down the complexities of real teaching. 5, practicing one skill at a time. Number 6, reducing the class size to 5 to 6 students or pupils. Number 7, reducing the duration of lesson to 5 to 10 minutes. Number 8, limiting the content to a single concept. 9, immediate feedback helps in improving or fixing and motivating learning. 10, the students are providing immediate feedback in terms of peer group feedback, tape recording, or even using the CCTV. And finally, micro-teaching advocates the choice and practice of one skill at a time. In the following section now, I want us to look at the steps of micro-teaching. Step number 1. Particular skill to be practiced is explained to the teacher trainees in terms of the purpose and components of the skill with suitable examples. Step 2, the teacher trainer gives the demonstration of the skill in a micro-teaching in simulated conditions to the teacher trainees. Step number 3, the teacher trainee plans a short lesson plan on the basis of the demonstrated skill for his or her practice. Step 4, the teacher trainees teaches the lesson to a small group of students or pupils. His or her lesson is supervised by the supervisor and peers. Step number 5, on the basis of the observation of a lesson, the supervisor gives feedback to the teacher trainee. The supervisor reinforces the instances of effective use of the skill and draws the attention of the teacher trainee to the point where he or she could not do well. Step number 6. In the light of the feedback given by the supervisor, the teacher trainee plans the lesson plan in order to use the skill in more effective manner in the second trial. Step number 7. The revised lesson is taught to another comparable group of students or pupils. And step number 8, the supervisor observes the reteach lesson and gives feedback to the teacher trainee with convincing arguments and reasons. And finally, step number 9, the reteach cycle may be repeated several times till adequate mastery level is achieved. That brings us to the end of this presentation, where we were able to look at microteaching, its meaning, objectives, characteristics, and microteaching steps. Thank you.